kandi bakaba bayine ebyokulya every age friendly food. Hati bwire buno wezoba orukutangana omwana w'emyaka 20 akwasire energy drink tomunkaguliza ngu w'amaani age gakajyaho ha myaka 20 w'amaani nigabagagira takulima takwetwa ekapiira by'amaizi takulima muhanda myaka 20 nawe aliha akacupa ka stingi hatiyo yekaguza onu arasobora kwika ha myaka 98 eyibajja kujaguza nyinkya aragihikaho aliha stingi buli kiro habwokuba ebyokulya ebirikwombeka agamaani omumaka bikozireki tibirimu baitu omukazi weena omukayi akaba namanya omwana bwarikwihwa amabeere byokulyaki omukazi bwaraba inenda byokulyaki omusaija ono bwaraba yahika mu myaka 5 6 hati tusemerire ku bantu mukonyera na byokulyaki nukwasigale alhameini bari kutugamba iyo kutarwa hameini asigale hameini beitat sazunu ntulya habwokulya kwonka nicho rukurora even what we think are boosters are actually killers habwokuba nyineka yari yagenya musiriye neteka karoke agamane nigamazaho umwaka gwona ono nanywa stingi neralehoiremu na nyencha naenda stingendi hati agamane gale hakainamira gale ha drip garalindeka na habweki tusemerire tumanye ngo the family institution obuturaginagiriza neito akumalira we shall pay a price amaka gatwegesaga entrepreneurship kurora ngo family businesses and entrepreneurial activities create jobs among stars, stimulate economic growth and provide essential goods and services. Kandi kino kiri muno hatsa hazino mu bahindi na continent ya Asia na mbere abantu family is very important to entrepreneurship. Habukuba nibatandika na business yabo, the whole founding family bona abana nibakorom mu institution mu business ya family. Kandi obaraba mbetagayo any kind of professional person watali mu family nibamutekaho cyonka mu bana babo nibabagani bamagamaga no harasomereki nuko naho bayigaleho nuko buli kintu kisigale muka nicyo rukurora ba mukwano naba bandi abahinde bayira itontorora mukwano wahati kandi kunu haliyo ba mukwano bandi abagenzire nkamusanje. But because of the family governance in entrepreneurship no sanga family businesses tezirukoraki tezirukwa buli mwana na yetabamu buli mwana ali interested mukiri kugenda mu maiso nibakimusobozesa to be interested. That goes to leadership at family governance. Kyonko mugisa mubyo gututungire atenyi butime na kiki Alex tugenze twatunga omugisa mubi ngo governance hati yitwine has individualized us. Even at family level, there is individualized poverty, individualized development. They have really split us that the family no longer holds. Habwokuba family institution eriemu omulema ake nibakamuha wenka ngo haruheza abalema, haruheza abagurusi, haruheza abakazi, haruheza abayuthi kyonka kumalira kwa byona haliyo nyineka. That kind of, isn't that a ghetto? I learned this from Zambia. I've just come from Zambia, actually 2 times, just to study their social protection outfit. Government deliberately has an inventory of all the households in the country. Even baba profiling it, ekan bajata kinga nkeka tebakwatakinga mu youth tebakwatakinga mu mulemu niba profilinga enweka erimu abalema babiri erimu ensinganto abarikusoma erimu abaana batakusoma erimu abagurusi bati erimu bati bamanya what package to take to this family nuko batunge component family babe mbatekereze ekintu kimubona hankurakurana mbagirora mu mulingo guta kum obaraba bayinitaka kandi they are a farming family hati government nebaha embibo nebaha farm inputs nebakonyera fertilizers nuko balime beze ekegireki ebyokulya subsequently babaha value additions babaha ebintu nk'ebi obarasanga ekatine neitaka government ina mataka gayo they lease land to that family nuko bakole nkeka nyewe ndora abaganda nibahandika taxi zabo ngo omwavu aluma nyina ngo omunaku nyina niwe wenka asobora kumugumira munagonzebwa nyina wenka nawe cyari nabata kumugonza bituteyine cyokora namugumira konka buli muntu bwari kumara kona kuhala narubata najemuka nataha obwari kurwara akahitwa nagamba bantashe nikimanyisangu tuine kutekaniza amaka nuko nomunako bwarije eka esobole kumukwatira agarukeho resuscitating otherwise government obweragumizamu no ku individualizing poverty ekasomora mu iwakawe nkako the families will not hold nenkurakurana eiturukubazaho terikuija kukora. It is family where we should put all our focus. Ijori tugabire sente za parish development model to one person in the family. One person. Sente tuzahira umuntu wo mumuka. Baitu sente ono wazitungire omu family muno. Is he the decision maker in the family? Rundi shi ono woheire millionaire nuwe decision maker mu family, nuwa controlling resources mu family, nuwa arikuchwamu ikikusemerera kukorwa muko hati oboze muhaire tayine bisobozi bo controlling resources ni taka lyarakora tiriririe ni controlling wondi na decisions muko mutali nuwa arikuikora hati no munihira milioni kugikoze sata kandi obwera mulema kusasura family yenu era mukonye kusasura nujja korora ne yiruka mu family kujya kwesereka ayakubere ne ijja kwesereka mu family hati ijja kubayirukamu habwa sente kumulema. This family is very very important. Habwo kuba mu family z'abantu hali mu power centers, hali mu control centers, hali mu abantu abari kuchwamu hati iwe sento zahiro mukamwana ayaswirwijere bone emyaka ebiri ozimuhaire nukwazikozeseze mukayoa nukwakozesa itaka lyoa nuko business agikorenka hati nijja kwesanga ebi byona ebinyakuli omuka nibijja kumutalibaniza obutasobora nokuteeka sente hamugaso gwazo n'aba youth nuko batalibaine nazo n'abalema nuko batalibaine nazo because families traditionally baine systems zabo nko ziri kukora. There is a family head osobora kusanga even the family head is not the one who makes decisions. You are only assuming being a family head he's the decision maker kan kun decisions obundi zikorwa mukazi oyesange onu nuwari controllinga nitaka ekyaho mutakitekaho tuijja kukozesa tuijja kukora tuti and then we betray ebintu byona obutwarozire twaruga family twagenda mu individualized poverty tukakurashinga kandi ntujja kuyikara nituzihayo sente tuzigaruka nituzisasura zitari kugaruka. ekintu ekindi kyali mu family health and well-being ekinkibalizeewo ebyokulya twalyaga n'emibazi twakozesaaga ey'enzaalwa na buli kintu kyona ekirikukwata bwomeezi omu maka kikaba kiri intentional kandi kyali kigenderirwe kurora ngu abantu b'omukomu nibaikara baine amaani bali healthy productivity levels zaabo zali haiguru nibasobora kutura bakalima bakagaruka nibasobora kurubata amoti nyo na rubataga turuga mukunyu n'amaguru paka mukaswa kandi ogaruka okwata ekipira kyawe ky'amaizi ojya haizibu hati saa zino na kilomita emu omwana tagitembaho boda nagitembaho boda n'obukwa buli bugenyi butyo okamugambira ngu buli mu kilomita emu nagamba obu mbulekere tinyine okunda agenda tibaine maani g'okurubata tibaine maani g'okukora tibaine maani ga buli kintu kibona bakahwamu neka yahwaho nahabweki the healthy well-being mu family ekaba ekintu kikuru. Of course civic responsibility omukazi yikaraga neijukye yiba omusoro tukaguhaire omukazi obyaruraga omusaijo omusoro gwakererero afu bagenda atunda obuhimba akora azoke nasasuraki omusoro guno. The civic responsibility at family level ekaba so strong ngo kabota rukwikirizibwa kucabiragiro okabota rukwikirizibwa kurwanisa government rundi kurwanisa omulemi wena kabe wa kyaro abatwale abitwale batebwa mu gekitinisa ky'amaani because there was a high sense of civic responsibility. Hati ntugenda kukora tuta amaka obugaraba garugire hakyago gafurungurwa gabura noha outuraha ekitinisa twabagambira mutasasura fees abana mu masomero musomere busa twabagambira na hairwaro muizere busa ube mibaze eriyo rundi teriyo twabagambira ngo nembibo turagibahera busa obwe mbibe iturukubazaho nike kikopo kimu cyebihimba hanyuma nyineka n'ijama inabiri gataliyo habukuba barwanireyo habwe kikopo kimu kita cyebihimba hati nenkoko nazo azhairo buhebwa ubundi politician ubundi yoha kitongole nembuze nyakole haka bagibahire hati omukazi onu ayemera arorera gamba hati omusaijo onu amakuru asigaize empali yonka habuko buli kintu muka tikiriki buli kintu ekiri muka tikikozereki tikiriki hati omukazi ayekaguza ono ekitinisa ninki mutamu habwansongaki habukujwala empali kyonka. And that is the violence we have created. Together to are creating a violence unnecessarily. Habwaki habwomlingo oguturukutakolinga transformation. Transformation esemerire korwe on this family. Yesterday batwanu belinka kuza ministry agenda. Nibatugambira sente ezibarukohe nyingi muno in the north and the west Nile ezibarukoha banu refugee hosting communities nibabaha support NutriCash what nabakaguza omuntu obwaba munaku. You mean the poor never graduate? For the last 15 years you have given support relief to the poor people in West Nile. Can you at least share with us a story of some poor person who graduated? Rundiki nibaja payroll yobunaku forever. Takurugao nibamta relifu paka walifa. We never graduate them. Tukabayiha mbunaku. So that means we need to use family to ensure resilience, to ensure sustainability. Hanu nkabahe kyokururao. The family ni yeno ensuring sustainability. Kandi sustainability neretwa buli muntu mu family na akoraki na participating. Let us harness the participation of every member of this family. Kakuba tutakikole tuti neitu itwenka tuli mu byabusa nkabahe kyokurora hano ningira nicyo cyabasemize no kungarra hano kubaza family. O ninyiza mu taxi nabasaiza babahima nyumba ino ko wange kyegewe. rweba jo tutemba taxi ikumenemu hatuwe turagenda kutaha kyegerwa nahuitirwa ente zange zarara n'amata mawe nyaburanyo zajya kurara n'amata nyaburanyo zajya kurara na hati uhinduka umurora omuka yawe hari abantu ngo bari omukazi wawe ngo atakumanya kama n'abana ati bakamanyire kama hati ukawafa ente no izoze twekere ku rugakyegerwa no zireta Kampala no garuka yose twekere pako tahi tofe kara kandi obwoli rwara bayitu habo kuba hari nukurwara togenzere na Kampala urwarira ha munju ente nzikamwa zita hati umukazi nawe nagiye kuziganyira bambi nagenda mu mutahi aize akame akonyere ente zitarara n'amata kandi bisaho umuntu wena anyakutaha mu rugo rwondi kukama rundi buri mukaba woruga akozereke arumu hati wo borwe umukazi ni wako bari mukama worugo nibakama mbakama iyo worwe iranti ol hakitaba tokusobora kama arukusobora kama izira hati umukazi mukama worugo ayizire kuterekereza nkokono aratukamera hati kumarebero bina nabakamera tiya kamera na mu mukazi bebe hati tuwafa kubi habo kuba nyine ka worugo musigiraho hati wajya kurwara kubiye ofe bwangu habo kuba norora toine cyokora omukazi amazirira kwataniza noli nabweki life can continue without you. So the involvement and participation of all the family members nicho kiri kuija kwensuringa sustainable development, socio-economic transformation, kandi no kurora ngo bitukora byona nibisigara biri mu family, because the essence of family is to protect the family wealth and the family welfare. Mubana bawi wanyakule hano mwana kyo worukorora ngwaye heireyo kandi ayitekanize to protect family wealth and the family welfare. Kandi bo tubayine kanosanga nyina nalise nkoko natunda amahuli ukasanga umutabani akwasira akapapura nagenda kuserera emirimo ukamukaguza ukwe amahuli galiyo ugasigireyo ndasobora gatunga ngo ati nkubyetegereze bya amahuli genda ukaguze mama nasiga business muka nagenda nakapapura kuserera umurimo hati yekaguza bino tuli mu biki. Is it our education system? Education system eto depriving ebintu bingi. The boarding school syndrome eto isiri abana hati bakanywana n'ebitabo byabo habuka mu boarding ekitabo cyawe nicyo kibanza cyawe noraraho n'esanduko yawe n'ebitabo buli kintu cyawe norara nicyo kibanza hati no bwakwijamuka ahumwire nijyanka IDP internally displaced nasiba mu kisika cye hakitabuke no bumuru kuyule byo kuri ameza wakasanike nijana kai nagarukayo hakitabuke ali internally displaced. Hati ogwa ara protecting wealth ara protecting ekotaro abagenyi bekara abamanyi nukwasobole kukora continuity na sustainability y'ebintu ebigenda maiso ne bikora inirabuli na cooperatives na cooperatives zakolerwaga hamaka hati sako ntuzifodinga muterane mukolesa ko tubayise bitu abarukuterana nabo ebitekerezo byabo nemitwe mbiterana twikara hano tugamba ngo agahikaine ngo gati gufu ubwo bukakwagarwe garari yatagata nubwa kwikana mukaga mayino mukaga tigakwati gufa kasaga bagarigarwe. So cooperatives abetereine abanyweine nko kumuzimanyire nko kutwali tuzina hano Tooro zakorwaga families ziri kuri mapamba zikazine cooperative yaso families ziri kuri mu mwani zali ziteranize bweke na farmer field schools zikazine cooperatives zazo nibakora ibintu byabo in one accord using family institutions. Beito hati this detached kind of development etulesera kabi. We can't form any cooperative. We are only forming structures for distribution of money but not for socio-economic transformation. I think we need to go back. Nisima muna abanyankole aho mwankole bo cooperatives zabo bakazisigaza stubbornly ito moito no buzafurungwirwe zabo zakoraki zasigaraho ito twangwirize zeitu twagamba omulembe gwebe guhoireho turugemu agetere ine tinchagarora chegegwa nyakaba twatwinehe yaho mbere bateyire cyoma cyamata bagetaga bateye abamajara muzeyi majara bayetaga kozireke mambe sazire abo bona bakaseseka hati cooperative spirit yaturugamo yekabane linkinga na maka ebigarukora as their enterprises nahabweke nganza nzange. I want to implore every development worker, every social worker, tuleke kutwara information na support na relief only to the doorsteps of the households. Let us take care kwetegereza family ne running eta mukuru wa family noha power center hanu mu family linkaha no har controlling resources so that ekintu kyone kyorukuteekamu omanye ngu power centers zona ziri connected to what has come to the family. Otherwise we shall hit a snag. Bona bari kugonza kusoma hansonga erukwata involving family in socio-economic transformation. Nimbasaba, we can learn from Zambia. I have learned a very great lesson, but also na Universal Declaration on Human Rights nayo stipulates that the family is the natural and fundamental unit of every society, where it plays a key role in providing a conducive environment for the harmonious development of its members. A number of other internationally and nationally agreed instruments affirm the vital role of family in society, so policies that are family friendly need to be established. Nintekereza bagenzi bange ba members of parliament, we have to come up with policies as if we are supporting a family. Because even in the National Social Protection Policy, the family is quoted as the first line of instance on social protection. Hati ukiraba kirikiti, even on socio-economic transformation, it must be the first line of intervention. Otherwise, byone biturukora nibijja kuikara bihangingira haiguru kandi nitusigara abantu nibarobunaku because we have not touched where it is most important. All societies, therefore, have a compelling interest to resist the institutionalization of the institution of traditional marriage. Itu itwenka entandiko yamaka nkokumbagambire ebeirembi. When we have a lot of children outside wedlock or the marriage lock, we detach the family. Habuka mubwire bunu abantu babaire so secretive ngo nabana bazeire tarukubaranga nimubarora afiri. So that deprives these children of the cohesion, the belonging, and the appropriate succession plan. Abana nibeikara nibeetwa baheru. Obutugenzire twataha mu cohabitation marriage. Abantu abari kwikara mu cohabitation beikara batakwesigangana. No mwaka mali emyaka 10, 15 abiri, these people basigara batakwesigangana bakora byona bakora because there is no commitment. Beikara bali non-conditional marriage ceremony. You don't need to cohabit for long. Habukuba, you put yourself and the whole family omunyikara eyetarukukwata ekyo ine ukachikwata kamalire ningamba ngo. Since history has repeatedly proven that the family remains the most powerful, most effective, and by far the most economic system, not only by confronting various challenges but also building resilience, competence, and character, accordingly, development workers must ensure the societal participation of family members in the social and economic developments. Let us ensure to implement SDG 16, which promotes peaceful and inclusive societies for justice and strong family institutions with specific protection that is granted to family members, ensuring sustainability of development across time by meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the next generations to manage and fend for their own. Ingonza kumalira na statement yeri kugamba, without the family, byone bituru kukora, tubiombekera hamusenyi. Ubuturi abantu gonza enkurakurana ya Tooro eyombekwe hamusingi guibale gw'omwandara. Tugarukeyo hamaka. Katugarukeyo hamaka. Chairman welo C1. Amaka gali mu kyaro kyawo. Ogamanyire kuingana. Buli muntu wena leka ikale na amanyi. Amaka gatwine gali mwoha noha nigakora kinaki kigire muki na buli kintu kyona. Neito ha legislative level ntuija kukora kyone kikusoboka kurora twagarukayo at the family unit in our policies and legislations. Mwaka guhoire nkaruga hano ngambire ntito ba members ba parliament obuturukwiza in such forum Tooro People's Conference nitubantu gonza mututume what is the legislative agenda at the end of this Tooro People's Conference mututumireki titurukuganikia buganikie bitureire tukozire ruwebajyo but out of whatever happened yesterday first day mutuheire what legislative agenda out of what will come from this second day mutuheire policy design ziki nuko nito tugenda hali tubukule hamzindaro speaking on behalf of Tooro People's Conference or Tooro people for that matter. Nimba saba de keke nacho tukimbedinge mu resolutions zeitu. There is a reason why we invite members of parliament. There is a reason why we invite heads of local governments. Give us an agenda. Out of all this, ito hatu tugende kupasiu ngaki. Nkaba members of parliament. Nimba sima, nimba gondeza Christmas enungi, no mwako gurukwijo murungi.
Otemuna goli ningira tubentetage kiro kiona kubaza kinu betobwire tubukutikiriza kikora. The worst enemy we have right now is time, but also it's me now standing between you and lunch. But tujakorora kutwabitwaza malina gamba tekanda mbikufumuna nuko tugende mu akiki na boki na gamba without the family whatever else we'll do, we'll be doing it or building on sinking sand. So, akagwize kakuzo, how do we involve the family in socio-economic development initiatives? Family ekione how mutu akwembera family noha, akwembera kwa managing resources za family noha. Aino busobozi warata bwine tukora tuta. Bingi byagenzeremo ebintu kwijja kora bamusazino abobwire deka ndalize aboki Richard Rwabhinga honorable nayo tereze byao ero hati kizibungu obwire tubuli harubajuru waitu beti nkumanyire okera muno kuchwera mbigufu na hati nikimaje kuchwera mbigufu.
Otemana kiki chairperson wa session eno kandi otemana aboli abwe bigambo ebyotandikire nabyo ntukubaza family unit as a foundation for social economic development, and I think we are doing it in the context of the Tooro families. Anye nomugisa mubi muko kutula hano wekitine Flavia na baz experience ki myaka 30 na kandi akiki magezi wana baza experience ki myaka 50 echo buswera na family life nyoni mbaza ki myaka 28 sabiti andikaho families kandi ekyo nkikozire habwe emyaka 24 nyakuhingwire kaninyikiranisa ngo eka nugo musingi na mbere nkurakurana yarukuruga yaba eka etekanizibwa kurungi ninyikiranisa no mugambi ngo eka nikiye kikaro na mbere abantu abanya inobuzale habwesagama rundiki obuzale kuraba mbuswere rundiki obuzale kuraba mu adoption bayikarahamo omungonzi kandi n'okugonzebwa. A family as a basic human unit where people who are related by blood, marriage or adoption live together and can love or be loved. That is the ideal. Nikimanyisa ngweka abantu abakuteranizibwa ezi ensongi isatu kakobahikiriza ekigendererwa ekyeka. No doubt eka nefoka omusingi ogwa social economic development. Baitu akasumi akaturukuomereramu kasumukanu ekitenukwakiri kandi habwokuba ekitenukwakiri eka tekyayikiriza ekyo ekigendererwa ekyeterirweho kufoka omusingi gwenkurakurana amaka amaingi ekitega kyakikiriza kandi kyatuletera ngweka obundi people have resented being in families and homes. People are rejected by their own families kandi tibakyasobora kwikwa musingi ogwenkurakurana habwaki amaka amaingi agakutandika kasumukanu nigatandika habwokuba mulembe. It is a fashion. Tigakyatandikwaho gemerira musingi ogwengonzi omusingi ogwokwegomba kwombekeka omusingi ogwokwegomba kukurakurana hamu omusingi ogwokwegomba kuzara n'okworora abana mu mulingo ogweka eyorora mu abana. Abakizira obwingi nibatandika kumanyangana nyamusana buraija kwira bombekereka musabitiye muberangire mu mwezi gumubangayini hati eka eyetandikire hanzirga ezo tesobora kimu waito mugambi kufoka musingi ogwenkurakurana eiturukubazaho kasumukanu mu byentasha no mu bwomezi obwa buli kiro. Ira habaho ga kasumi akokujumbera okitinisa obalizeho ekyakasumukanu ekyokurora irembo timanyire ekyo kikatandikadi sange nkuyanja y'abantu 80 ngo bagenze kurora irembo lyisezara bo timanye mbalirora kirikabaki baitu akasumi akokujumbera kwetegerezangana kutandika kurora obuturaguma ha muntu genda nkaha ntwegomba nyenche yitu esanita ntwegombeke rukusanaki abantu abatora balhanu aka akasumi nikagenda nikakeha muno. No wonder wa maka maingi bifokere bitongo akwa batandikire batihayira akasumi akukwetegerezanga nekirukumara omusaija yantwaro no nasanaki kandi omukazi yantwaro no onatwara nasanaki abandi bagenzere maka habwensonga z'eby'entaahya bagamba omunaku agonsebwa agonsebwa nyina. Ako omusaija nazooka kurungi aine ebyakuzooka inabyo na proposinga nyenkyakara rwebajyo tugende mutwale mubazaire kandi hanyuma y'okurugayo habihoki tubagane kandi ngo kutuyizire mukanisa taruge mukereziya taruge muadisi taruge hati tubagane ekigendererwa tikibayire engonzi n'okumbeka eka egenderwa kibayire kuli nintunga yoki akasumi akanda amarayo. Amakuru omusingi ogwa social economic development tini yonsonga habwaki abantu bano bagenza kwikara hamu baitu bagenzireyo n'ensonga yandakulyamuki. Obundi n'obundi abazaire tibabayireho kukonya kandi omuzaire bwarukuteeka hamaani kukonyera ekintu nayetegerezebwa kubi. Mu bwire obw'enyuma omukazi obyagiraga obutaikiraniza ayanganira mwanyina zaara ayanganira mwaise zaara baitu kasumi kanu ho noyanganirayo naho birungi okwanganira mu omugurusi nsonga nziba zindi. There is that crisis of confidence. Tacharoho okugambara kimungu hati ono mukyara wangu bwalukuli mukazi wange alikurungi bwarayirukira mbara mukati bamukorera contacts ezindi bwarayirukira mwanyina zaara orwigi arusibe agambe mutabani wange akatangana ikiroro yakwijura. Stakeholders tibakyali mu maka kandi eka yona nyakuru mwakatabanguko ako tesoborera kimu kuba musingi gwa social economic development. Ombito kasagama alhano kaandika katabu which have been promoting family unity, family wealth. Eka enyakulhamu eke rukwataniza hamu nambere buli muntu warukora obujunanizi bwabo hati ekegi yino obuguda kandi obuguda buli sustainable abuli habwokuba abantu abo nibakumakuma ebyobuguda bwabo kugumaho kugenda mu maiso. Kiro kyaijo ekitinisa Bishop wa Fort Portal obugambo byatandikiriga nabi hano he raised a pertinent issue of land management. But what are we witnessing today in families? Land fragmentation. Buli muntu atungaki, buli muntu akajikoki. Ono akatunde, agule pikipiki, ono akagirata. Family unity. Amaka gaitu as centers of socio-economic development gakyali hamu nitukyasobora kubaza olulimi rumu nkeka. Kakuba olulimi rumu rubura kakuba okwatanisa kulemu hati that unit can never be a unit or a center of social economic development. All these rotate around one point and factor: parenting. Itu abayikalira hanu mukisika murukurato rw'abantu ba Tooro tutungira akasumi ko kuororwa kandi itwe abalhano abamukamahiro mugisa kugera amaka tutungira akasumi ko kuorora Wekrisa Flavia, abana baitu ni bororwa television. Abandi ni bororwa esimu. Mzaire kwa nataha, isimu najikwa sabana, mgendo kumurole murakarora, too busy doing something else. What do we remain with if we lose our children? Natugama ntusera sente, ntukusera byamaguzi kirungi sente ntuzetaga kwa nabo nibazena. But ubu tukuferwa abana baitu natuba tusigayizeki nkamaka. Nebyo kusoroze byona ubwo kubotarugiraho ntibukumarana mwaka nibukondera habwo kubabina babo otabatekanize kubirolera bikaguma. So kugarukayo kuorora hachioto. Kogera Foundation tubere nturubata nabo muna hansonga yechioto kuorora. Omukazi inyo abana banyu abayisiki numborora ko baharabanyu abojo banyu numborora batabana banyu baitu torukuorora ngo notekaniza omukazi nyina bwenge wa nyinja torukuorora ngo notekaniza omusayija nyineka wa nyinji iyo no mura mutabano wawe ogu muhara wawe true baitu kimanyire munyenje ogu mukazi wa musayija ndo kimanyire ngogu iba muhara wa muntu tutanatu bazahike nyakuteka yini tutungera akasumu ko kuorora abana baitu yamagombora zanga nukabarore ne yebembere teenage pregnancy 28% of the children below age 18 have conceived and given birth. Obunagireyo in that sub-county, nagenda in the health center 3 nasanga akaisike myaka 13 kala kakaruko kusinduka omwana 13 years. Pointing to what? Parenting. Iba abojo banu batekanizibo kure mirimo yobwanye neka nibarara mu clubs na tahasa 10 za nyenchakar mukana atwara yotur tena imukana atur kirokimu bondo kumalira we chairperson. They have always told of a story. Ira mukazi obyasuyerwaga after some time wagaruka muka kusamba minaga. Hati obyagarukira muka abayisiki bamuye Tooro hatugambira okubirbeta. Ati nga mamusaiza wange murungi. Musaiza nangonza. Ibintu kwetaga byona nabibya mu bwire. Bayitwash. Mulu bantu bakuru. Bayitwash. Hati ogo nayetaga sting. Nayetaga kaliga. Nebindi byakasumukana. Habwaki ikyoto. Abana bayitsibora yirwe going forward. Kutekaniza maka agasobora kuleta henkorakorana. And therefore I want to appreciate the presentation by Honorable Flavia, but what I request from Tooro People's Conference is how do we package this information and we cascade this information to where it should be. Here we are less than 1%, not even 1% of the people of Tooro. Can we have this message? Yakubazaho eka ngo musingi gwenkurakurana yagenda mu bantu baitu miringo cye tutayireho habwo kuba message obundi teriyo kandi ubuhikireyo tehikireyo kurungi. If I can remember my P2 rhyme which says, for lack of a shoe the horse was lost, for lack of a horse the rider was lost. For lack of a rider, the messenger was lost. For lack of a messenger, the message was lost. And for lack of a message, the kingdom was lost. Where is the message? Addressing family and family life as a center of socio-economic development. And therefore, I conclude by associating with the words of Professor Moses Muhumusa yesterday and the recommendation that we adopted in a unanimous decision that we develop Tooro People's Code of Conduct that is generally accepted, culturally embedded, politically ratified, and religiously sanctified. I thank you.
Ochemna boki webale muno akaire na hati kakyatangirire tikali habajuru waitu baitu leka ntasisire bwire aboki nko kwagambire how to bring the family at the center of social economic development. Leka nyete akiki Stephen Magezi Owangezi Hangezi aije atuhereze ekyatuinire kanyangambire nguwe obwire obwingitar kubwenda edakika 5 zonka nizemmara eja kwamaliriza.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Abantu ba Tooro bagenzi bange hano hari obutenganiza ampwire de kamanyi isatu. But I'm a scientist. Scientists are very obedient, and they will always deliver. So, having listened to these very eminent speakers, teachers, politicians, I'm really challenged how I can match what they have done. I don't have the experience they have, but I have the advantage of age, and having spent a reasonable time in the marriage institution. So I have decided that I will just give a few examples using myself as the guinea pig, and then you can take it from there. But let us start with the mfumo za Tooro. Urukubanza rugamba ngo agahikaine nugo gati gufwa muihiramu. Abandi bagamba ngo ihanga rukanga likwatenezibwa, and the first ihanga is the family. In that family, unless we have a spirit of respecting one another in the family and having unconditional love across the family, then we shall not be able to achieve any development. Orufumo orundi rw'Abatooro rugamba ngo isemu bagonzangana buli batungire. If they are poor, there will never be love but conflict all the time. So from there and from what they have said, I really agree with them. And I wouldn't like to repeat because you have heard. So I will limit myself on the idea of making the family financially sustainable, to have family wealth, and also generational wealth. If we get a little more time, I'll tell you some stories so we can laugh together. The biggest challenge which we have seen among the young families, especially in our Kampala, is the money. They fight about money. The wife, and these days wives are very powerful. They have resources, sometimes more than their men. And they say, sente zange zikikazi zinu, zange. Ezawe, zaitu. So this formula doesn't work. And I have been listening to our clergy. They advise people who marry. And they repeat the same mistakes. Me having been there for those many years, I tried to hide my head. I said, what is he talking about, this clergy? Do you know what he says? Iwe msagazi wa swera, gendo kole, olise mkazi wawe, okole viona. But you see, ihanga rukanga, lukatanizibwa. So what have I done in my situation in the 50 years? Our money in our family is not mine, and it is also not for my wife. It is for the family. And everybody understands that. Right from the beginning, in my case, we have always had a joint account. And if I'm in Europe and I open an account because she's not there, at the earliest opportunity, she must be a signatory of that account. Why? Because we are trusting each other and unconditionally loving one another. And the children, they know that the resources in the house are for the family. This is how we have maintained. I could give details, but we don't have time. What have we done? Because I don't just want food on the table. I want food when I'm sick, food when I'm tired, to be buried properly, but I want the generation to be okay. So what have we done? In our case, we have what we call family trust. You must have a family trust which has certain conditions and certain rules. Our condition, for instance, most of the lands we have, they belong to the family trust. No one is going to sell, and one of the conditions in the trust, for instance, in our case, says no one will sell either individually or as a trust until after 40 years. So this is a very big lock on the family wealth, and it leads to generational wealth. If there is a requirement for you to sell, you must sell within the family. If a member of the family doesn't have resources to buy, then the trust should buy. Because the trust is strong, it is able to buy. In this way, we are maintaining generational wealth. Recently, I have been seeing that when the Nyeneka passes on, the children become monsters to the mother. They chase her, they do all those things. And I'm very mindful of that. So when I bought a house one time, I said, this house is going to be registered fully in the names of this woman whom I have been with for so many years, so that no child can ever chase her and she has no accommodation. So I'm protecting and ensuring family wealth. So we can go on. There are specialists in the country who can help us to do these kind of arrangements and things like that. But we don't have time. Let me go to next of kin. One time where I used to work, I had like 400 people under my docket, and one of the young ladies passed on. And she was from my village called Ngezi. And so I must be seen to support this family because I know them. So I say, bring her file here because whatever money is there, we must support the family. And the distribution of money depends on who is the next of kin. And we found that the next of kin now was her former boyfriend. So I was really in trouble, not knowing what to do. And I decided that let me do a research. I called all the files for 400 people to see who is the next of kin. This is my finding. All the people in the north of Uganda and east, the next of kin was brother, uncle, and so on. The wife is nowhere. I went to Kigezi and Ankole, and they are really good, those chaps. Like in almost 100%, the next of kin was the wife. I came to our region, but of course there are few people, few Tooro in these powerful positions. I think we are around 80%. The next of kin is wife. So we are not there, but we should be there. Let me tell you, if you want to get your generational wealth going, the wife and the husband, to unconditionally. Otherwise, no other person can do a favor to your family except those within the family. Last night when we left here, I found one of the chaps who has been doing work for me, waiting in town that I can pay him. He has been cutting timber so that I can make some construction. But we had never bargained. So he came, he said he needed 6 million to pay him for his cutting timber. It was a lot of timber. So I didn't have that money. And I think he's a good chap. He's not trying to cheat me. But I rang my daughter in Kampala. I said, how much do we have on the construction account? She told me it was not much. Can you pay this man 4 million? She says, I will. It is not her money. It's not my money. This is family money. But as a family, we are ready to work together so that in the future we can have some generational wealth. This is my prayer. Finally, when you are going to get married, what is your reason? I've seen that the children, most of them, they are interested in the ceremony, not in the marriage. Young girls, they are always dreaming about this great ceremony. And 80% of the time and the money is spent on the ceremony. But they forget that the real thing we should be working out is the marriage. So I recommend that we who are parents, me, I'm a grandparent, we must begin to instill in our children the idea that the thing is the marriage. The ceremony is minor. It takes 1 day only, but you have 50 years to deal with the marriage. Why then don't you spend 80% of your energy, time, and money thinking about the marriage? Chairperson, let me stop here. But if I had time, I could be able to really talk about this marriage because it is the institution which I have enjoyed most. It is the institution which makes me who I am. And I don't care if you see I have torn trousers, what, but I know at family level, I'm able. One of my students here is Mudumiz here, whom I have been instructing about marriage for like 30 years. He's a very good student, by the way. And I think if you also talk to him, he may be able to do good things. Chairperson, let me stop there. And I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Akiki, Stephen Magezi. Amalina kaguza ebikaguzo bitaito muno baitu byamani. What's the reason for marriage? Why do people get into marriage? Is it about the ceremony, that one-day ceremony excitement, or it's about a lifetime commitment and journey that you are going to walk? Achwerire mfumo nyingi kandi zina makuru agahekaine nuko gati gufa ihanga rukanga likwatanizibwa isemu kugonzangana buli batungire hati mugaruke nyimo kumurole haliyoki amazima gali aboli aboki na kiki ebabalizeho bingi muno abobwire tinsobora gukora summary, I won't be able to do it justice. So ningonza ngarukira hanu mbasime muno mwebale kubagana naitwe ha murabiremu na experience hakintu kieka kila muno bamalire nibaija mkichweka kikaro kimwe kiraniza ngu generational wealth is important. Building the spirit of responsibility, of commitment, of hard work, of respect is very important. Nora kiki atugambire aine family trust. Sente zirumu tizirizo mcha tiziriza abana betu za family. Nora ngunatera omhara na musaba, can you do this? Hasente ezinyakuli family trust, which is a very, very good example for us to look at. I beg to stop here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your patience. I know I've taken much of your time. Thank you.
Mwebale Omunyoro Wilson Kaija, Kiara Flavia Rwabuhoro, Munyoro Magezi no Munyoro Rwabuhinga. Mwebale muno hakutuherezaho experiences zanyu kandi tujya genda lunch.
Onganyere sobora genda lunch obundi bindi nibiyeba butaragaruka mu session endi, but this is some good information. Honorable Alex, you led the team in fundraising. I want to give you the figures from the Secretariat. Physical cash, 1.46 million. Mobile money, 1.7 million. Pledges, 12.17 million. DFCU and Equity Bank, 300,000. Grand total, 15,630,000. So I think thank you everybody. And please, I want to clarify this, that the number they displayed there, it shows my name. It's not my ordinary line. It's different. It's a dedicated line just for TAFE and it has issues. The reason for that, government has become very strict in organizations opening these mobile money accounts. So they had asked for an individual, and I was unfortunate to be asked to manage that line. So please don't send my money, your TAFE money on my ordinary MTN line. Send it on the number that you've been given. If you send it on my line, then I will know it is mine, and I will thank you for the donation. Yes? Yes, I'm being reminded as we go for lunch. Yesterday, we thank you so much for the discipline that was. Twizerhanu kwegesanga nengeso. Abagurusi na abakekuru first, then twine hagati yeitu the abalema abatakurahuka. Kyakube kirungi abagurusi abakekuru tubaleke bebembere, abalema nabo group egi nuko abandi abakene mu rutege nito tumalire. Ektu akikiranize obutararo umusigaza no mwisiki akwebembire mu maiso tukoleke namwe tujja kumuhabura kansabe moti atwebembere musara yo soma kabwe byokulya kandi tugende hakyamusana tirikumanya tugaruka saa zingana. Alex na Honorable Alex na ngamba hamili yangu atirihe ikibu kuja kuraba ugenda lunch ngo ukwatemu kutamu kutalikwatamu kuihamu nina lunch eno katugera kika ana na 5 most tugaruke mwenda kichweka for the next session yelikuja kuba nebazaho the impact of negativity and self-pity on socio-economic development. Na hiyo topic nungi muno nibija kunula.
Kale katwemere tusabire kyamusana kyaitu tukaza kusiga mukama wetu nungi bahamna itu rutarike gubirwanyesha tukwasege kusima yone twakasoma ne twakahura twakarora wala mukama bibekure nyo kutekanze byagenda kuri hati kuriya tubisabira umugiso byeza mukama tamana tungiye kwereza na nyo kwerese tukora byatekanze bana byakutema mukono yabo bitekanze batera umugisa gwawe turabe tamana tungiye kwereza abana batabina hero kutubasabira mukama soko bagabira kwa tubabare munsi basinguzi ibali ati kandi kizibwe Yesu Kristo mukama wetu amen.